Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back once more to another, to the next part of 5 Elves, 5 Lives. We're gonna continue our little journey through the dungeon. When I left off last video, I told you I was gonna do some reshuffling of my inventory, and, between then and now, I had completed the snake pit. I've actually done a bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna share with you just, the highlights of what I've done. I did leave this area. I actually went up a few floors, down a few floors throughout the dungeon, collecting all of the +0 arrows I could find. The result was I found 100 of them, in addition to this stack over here of 270 more, for a total of 300. I then used my scroll of enchant weapon once, the ones that increase accuracy, and enchanted them on up until they were +3 arrows. So I have now 370 +3 generic arrows, which can be turned to fire or ice by my fire and ice bows respectively. Pleased to note that most of my to-hit values have a huge pluses already, +6, +9, +5 from the archery side, +3, +2, which isn't as big from the longsword side, but, you know, still reasonable. So I didn't feel like having those scrolls was as important, whereas enchant weapon 2, which increases damage, I felt was important. Quick summary of what I've done. I'm planning to push to the vaults next. Oh yes, the new cloak. So you'll recall how in earlier runs I had ignored the new elven cloak I had, the +2 elven cloak, in favor of my own +1 cloak of the thief, which gives me invisibility, levitation, evasion, dexterity boosts, seeing invisibility, stealth ++, and damage -3. The thing that I realized after the fact is that damage -3 is very, very significant on a character like me who uses quick attacks repeatedly. Say that I used a double-handed axe and dealt 20 damage per hit, one hit every 5 turns, and my opponent's armor takes away 10 of that. Okay, that's still 7 damage. I'm just making up numbers. I'm not. I am playing like a stealthy Stabdukin type guy. I'm using a quick blade. I'm hitting 12 times, each of them for 3 damage. 36 damage stacks up. And their armor might resist one of them because, you know, I'm being all sneaky about it. Fine, I still deal 24 damage. But now I have a -3 on every single attack. That's gonna add up really fast. And no wonder my dagger has been progressively less and less useful. And I've been forced to, you know, especially against non-mephitic enemies where I don't even get stab damage. In realizing this, I've decided this cloak, the -3, is no longer an acceptable trade-off since I can't rely on mephitic constantly. So I've scrapped that in favor of I scrapped that in favor of a generic +2 elven cloak with no enchantments because I don't have a good enchanted elven cloak anywhere else in the dungeon. I've also dropped my wizard hat in favor of the helm of intelligence because at this point there are multiple areas in which I would like god gifts, and I've already gotten god gifts for artifacts I've been wearing, so, you know, it's not like he's avoiding, it's not like I'm able to force him to give me something. Notice that my gloves are giving me accuracy +5, which is a huge part of the reason why I can afford to throw away my enchant weapon 1 scrolls now, because I already have a 5 bonus, in addition to any other bonuses, for every weapon I own, which is great. Yeah. Wrong window. 2 levels of resist fire, 1 level of resist cold. Oh, right. So, boots of levitation. Because I no longer have the levitating, the ability to evoke levitation via my cloak, since I'm just using an elven cloak, I've decided to carry these with me wherever I go. They weigh a reasonable amount, let's see, 3 AUM, but for comparison's sake, my stack of 17 fire arrows weighs half an AUM. So, you know, it's all relative. It's not like I need to get rid of it urgently just in order to make it do. I'm saving the enchant armor to potentially make dragon armor later. That, I think, is everything I need. Oh, right, rings. I didn't explain my ring situation. I'm holding on to the Amulet of Faith still because I do like the fact that I'm getting these repeated gifts. When I take it off eventually, I'm going to lose a third of my piety, so I need to be ready to absorb that piety hit when I do. or I can just ignore that piety hit altogether and be like, haha, whatever, I don't care. Which is, you know, kind of reasonable, since it'll never make me leave the religion, and I don't really need the buffs he gives me on a regular basis. Uncursed Ring of See Invisible I'm keeping because without the cloak I can no longer see invisible passively. I can always swap it off with Ring of Sustenance, which is kind of an open finger until I get something better. This is still giving me stealth -/ in favor of dex +3 and resist cold level, and I consider that a fair trade-off. I also stocked up on a few new scrolls. I think that's basically all I needed to share with you guys, so that's that. Let's get back to our dungeon crawling. We left off halfway through the dungeon at this point. We've cleared the snake pits. Gotten the rune. I'm not going to do the slime pits because those places are terrifying and I don't have resistant acid and corrosion. We're not going to do the shoals because I don't... I mean, I guess I have permanent levitation. That will help. But I've never succeeded in getting past the first floor there before, and I don't want to burn a good run on it. So instead, we're going to go to the main dungeon and then proceed towards the... whatchamacallit? Proceed towards the vaults. So, off we go. To the dungeon. So, in my, you'll recall in an earlier video I did the whole enchant trick, and later on bemoaned that I may have done it a little bit early, which is why later on in the game, like now, I've been forced to do it again. Back then I did the enchant trick on arrows on a stack of 110 arrows, and that stack of 110 arrows that were enchanted only to +4. I didn't do +5 till much later. And that stack of 110 arrows has lasted me all the way till now, as a matter of fact. I still have like 40 of them left over. So, with that in mind, you see why I've been kind of eager to get... Yeah, I know that technically speaking they eat those and get more life back, but I don't really care because I deal so much damage with air archery that a common slime isn't gonna get away. So yeah, the enchant trick for the small stack of 110 arrows lasted me this long. It's hardly a big deal. I mean, it's hardly surprising then that if I had waited just until I had collected an additional 100 arrows or so, I might have had, you know, instead of been redoing the trick now on whatever +1s I could find, +0s I could find, I could have been doing the trick for the first time on a double stack or a triple stack a while back, and then still have +5s, +6, +7 arrows by the truckload. I'm gonna get out of here. This is a bad situation. I don't know anything about these characters, and I'm being attacked with rocks. Lucky for me, they're all mephiticable. Alrighty, now I'm a little bit more stable. Let's go ahead and shoot the bastages. Oh right, I didn't tell you guys, but I managed to get my piety back up 1 pip, not by fighting anything significant, just a few yaks and stuff that I happened to run across, respawns that had appeared in the dungeon when I went collecting arrows. The reason I didn't look up Harold was that even though I don't know much about him, I have fought him before, and I know he's no big threat. This Gastronok, on the other hand, I recall is a summoner. He is not resistant to poison, and because he's not resistant to poison, he's not resistant to mephitic, and he just managed to get off a summon. I'm gonna get out of here. I don't like fighting summoners while they're summoning stuff. Case in point, this guy. And my abjuration is not yet, I mean, it's not anything. It's still at fair. Actually, fair is decent. I could potentially get it off in like 2 shots. But again, the stairs weren't exactly that far either. Frost arrows loaded. Let's peg the sucker. You know, running out of ammo is an eternal fear, one that I've only started to get over, but I must say it is nice to not have any mana limitations. I have 180 plus shots, and I ain't about to run out. My god, this guy is really just crowding the place. The beauty is that all the summons he's doing so far are mythicable, so this cloud of enemies is just as dangerous to him as it is to me. And now, of course, the cloud of enemies is irrelevant because their summons and will dissipate, and their master will not be summoning any new ones. The reason I'm not staying to attack them is because there's actually you don't get any experience from killing ordinary summoned creatures, so I see no point in wasting any energy on them at all. Okay, a +2 Wizard's Hat of Intelligence versus a +1 Helm of Intelligence. Which is better? Well, let me see what they do to my AC and think 18, 18, 26 versus 19, 18, 26. Slightly better, and it might improve my spellcasting to use a Wizard's Hat, but again, I don't care about my spellcasting that much. As long as it's average, it's good enough for me. So we'll leave that behind for now and come back for it later if I change my mind or if something bad should happen to my current equip. What is this beautiful little thing here? A crystal sword hidden on a teleportation trap stuck behind a translucent stone wall. I'm trying to think how I guess I didn't carry any identify scrolls with me. I'm trying to think how I might get it out, because this is a nice long sword made of crystal. It looks very, very dangerous, and I like dangerous ones. And it says here that the Shining One gave it to a worshipper, which means it's probably even better enchanted than your average sword. Alright, I don't know how to destroy translucent stone walls, so I'm going to look that up quickly. Pardon me a moment. Translucent stone wall. Translucent rock wall, green wall, stone wall. Harder than rock, stone walls can only be destroyed using high-level spells. Stone vaults are common throughout the dungeon. Some unique round items are made from stone. Force of stone, complete with moat and drawbridge. Lightning and sparks can be bounced off them. Green crystal reflect cold and flame. Reflect lightning, immune to digging, disintegration, Lugona's corruption. Easier. So basically I would need to have a very high level spell to beat this stuff. I can't even dig through or shatter through it. Yep, I am going to go ahead and write this one off as being beyond my means to get right now. Yeah, it's beyond my ability to get right now. I have, I don't know if I memorized apportation, but if I did, I can attempt to use that. Yeah, okay, it doesn't work on this. Apportation, let me show you what it does. I'm going to use it on that spear. I miss. Yoink, it pulls the item towards me. So I could effectively pull the sword off the teleport trap and, you know, pick it up when it's on the ground. That would have been effective if, you know, if it had worked. But there was a wall in the way, so I guess it's like the Axios spell from the Harry Potter series, for those of you familiar. Anyway, I'll come back for it later if I should find somehow another way or means to get it, but For now, I'll just write that off as one of those swords that they use to tempt me to do stupid stuff, as opposed to something I can actually make use of. Not resistant to poison. And not very resistant to hostile enchantments either. Notice that I'm only using +3 arrows as opposed to using my +5s. I should probably use my +5s for stronger enemies like this guy, but... Okay, I have a lot of fog scrolls and I don't need them, so let's drop 3 of my fog scrolls. It's good to have one in case you need to suddenly block a line of sight attack or a a smiting attack or something. But it also blocks your line of sight, so it's only useful while running. And even then, when you're running, you probably don't want to be doing stuff. Vorpalization, teleportation, fear. I would like a new fear scroll. I don't feel like I have enough of that capability. And I'm gonna drop a scroll here as well. Ooh, Scroll of Enchant Weapon 2. Again, now I have like 3 or 4 of them. If I ever come up with my high level weapon for the game, I'll be able to mass enchant it. That's the goal. I want to be able to bring it up. Remember again that Enchant Weapon 1 deals with its accuracy and Enchant Weapon 2 deals with its damage output. I didn't take my whole stack of 270 plus 3 arrows. I only took a small portion of them. What I'm going to do, now that I think about it for a second, I'm going to burn through the remainder of my +5 arrows first, and when they're all done, then I'll go back and pick up what's left of the +3s, and who knows, by then I might have one more scroll to enchant them with to make them +4 or +5, so that they have like 80% resilience. Yeah. Ooh, fresh arrows of dispersal. Very good. I was low on those. Those seem to be a favorite of Okuwaru. Dispersal arrows, ordinary arrows, or not ordinary arrows, dispersal arrows, and the 2 fire and ice arrows. That's what I'm trying to say, fire and ice. But yeah, at this point I can kill pretty much anything with my arrows, which is beautiful. Especially if I get a few good shots. Now I hope I'm still training armor and shields, because... oh, not armor. Whoops. Let's train armor and shields. Stabbing I want to keep on because it's still potentially useful source of bonus damage. Long blades I'm going to try and make my primary late game weapon in addition to bows, so they're both on. And fighting is just for the HP bonus, so yeah, we'll leave that on. So really I do want all of these on, and I'm prioritizing shields because from what I've read, when you get shields to around level 15, they stop slowing you down altogether, which is really helpful. It's a good thing that I get to fight these guys now. It's going to be a good assessment for how ready I am to take on the vaults, since large groups of these guys are rather commonplace there. I just one-shotted a dragon. How cool is that? With an arrow, nonetheless. Alright, let's drop some of these pointless rings, like the Ring of Fire. Ring of Fire. What the heck is Nash? It's a ghost. Berserker Kobold of Trog. Man, I'm surprised he got this far. Resistant to poison and fire, but not to cold. Well, I guess he's undead, so he would be. And this is a wood golem. If there's any justice in the world, he's vulnerable to fire. Yes, he is. Let's keep out the Vorpal bow, and let's requiver us some fire arrows then. Punch him where he's weak. You. Got him. Now, I don't like fighting at melee range versus pretty much anybody, so where are those new dispersal arrows I just got? There they are. Off you go, Nash. Go somewhere else. There we go. And now generic arrows, because he's got so many resistances. Dispersal arrows. Away with you, sir. And generic arrows. Alright, there he is. Dead, dead, dead. You know, I'm noticing that all of the dispersal arrows I fired, none of them are here. So I'm starting to think that, you know, there's no way I'm that unlucky. So most likely they all are automatically getting mulched. I'm gonna read this random scroll. Nothing happens. Whatever. He's got a giant spiked club, so fighting him face to face is a pretty good way to get myself killed. With one accidental critical. I guess two. I have a lot of health, but yeah. Oh, so I looked up that whole cold thing that I was saying. Turns out it works to slow down cold-blooded creatures, but not just any creature is considered cold-blooded just because it's snakish. Nagas, for example, are half human, so they're not cold-blooded. Generic snakes are, but the slow effect isn't as noticeable on them because they're so fast anyway. So yeah. I'm going to drop my Wand of Lightning now that I have a Wand of Cold. I generally prefer a Wand of Cold to a Wand of Lightning. I was wondering why there was only one of them and he was alone. The reason I'm not retreating to the hallway is that in a hallway these guys tend to merge into super slimes, which are a whole lot more dangerous than the individuals. Don't read too much into my memorizing that skill. It's not that important. I just felt like having it all around. It increases your AC to +5. It's not very utility. It doesn't have a lot of utility. It's not the thing to have around at the house. You know, all of this still hasn't gotten my piety back up to where it was before Snake Pits. Though I would have been hard pressed to get it that high, considering just how high it became in the Snake Pits. Oh wow, I'm using Flame against a Flaming Dragon. That's stupid. But yeah, the Orcish Mines did a lot for my piety boosting, and it would have been hard to get that high under ordinary conditions. I need to be on the lookout for some way to boost my strength again. If I level up twice more, I'll get one more free enchant. That'll be nice. But until then, I may have to deal with this consistent lack of strength for a while. Okay, as you see, they are forming the super slime, and I don't want to deal with it as a super slime. Right now they're being blocked by this little worm thingy, which is great, and there's a staircase behind me, so what did I just pick up? God Gift of Poison Arrows. Alrighty, let's keep the bow out and just run. Zombies aren't allowed to follow me upstairs, so he'll stay behind. And let's hope that whenever I do come downstairs, the slime has, you know, dissipated, because it does that, you know, they get bored of being together. Where's my holy blade? Damn you, sir. Note that it's not just getting hit, but it's convulsing due to all of the bonus damage that a holy blade like this can deal. I don't know why there's these undead creatures here, but I don't need to know why in order to kill them. Alrighty, fight them in the open. I will continue to wield a sword. I'll wield a freezing sword. Oh, wow, he's dealing a lot of damage, and now he's a super slime. Just great. Let's try and disperse the sucker. Yeah, the baby slime alone isn't that scary though, so let's just kill him before he becomes super slime again. And running around like that around a pillar is kind of one of the most key key basic ways to play that you learn early on. And it pretty much never loses its value. Oh wow, teleport control. These rings, when you perform a teleport, allow you to choose your destination. Not with 100% precision, mind you, but, you know, close, very, very precisely, rather precisely. Very useful for getting out of a bad situation and not jumping into another one. Also useful later on in the game for dropping yourself directly where you need to be, such as when ninja-ing a rune. Where's my firebow? Nah, just cover some fire arrows. Generic fire arrows. 2 shots ought to do it, yep. Alrighty then. I'm starting to think that entire altar is... Wait a minute, is this the floor where there was a teleport trap guarded thingamabob? I just had a crazy idea I'd like to playtest. Let me put on my ring of teleport control in favor of sustenance. Yeah, perfect. Come back to where these teleport traps clearly are. Ooh. Hungry ghost. Remember that they don't actually damage you, they just make you hungrier. I'm gonna step on the teleport trap with my ring of teleport control on and see what happens. Like, I'm fairly positive it's gonna let me control where I teleport to. Then I'm gonna try to teleport on top of a teleport trap and see if it immediately teleports me again. Okay, teleport trap activated. I want to teleport here onto the teleport trap. I land on there. Cancel the teleport. I am standing on the teleport trap. I'm standing on the teleport trap for 5 more turns. I walk into the teleport trap. Yes, it allows me to teleport. I teleport onto a teleport trap. It misses. Teleport onto... I just walked onto it. I teleport onto a teleport trap. Misses. Yes, I teleport onto a teleport trap. Lands, and I cancel it. And I get to stay there. Here's the plan. It's kind of sort of stupidly risky, but if it works, how awesome would that be? I teleport onto the crystal sword that I saw on the floor above me. Then I teleport away. And I use the teleport trap control to ignore the "you must leave immediately" effect. This allows me to ninja out the crystal sword that was hiding on the floor above. I don't know if crystal sword is even worth it, but you know, I'm always in the market for another sword. And this Holy Wrath's blade is good and all, but you know, one can never have a sufficiently powerful sword if they're as power hungry as me. So that's the plan. Teleport onto here somehow and steal the sword. We'll see if it works. And just to be safe, how many teleport scrolls do I have? I only have 1 teleport scroll with me. That's kind of sort of cutting it fine. I have a wand of teleportation which I can use on myself to try and force this to work. It'd be ideal if there was another teleport trap on this floor so I could try it indefinitely. There are 7 teleportation scrolls in my layer. I'm willing to waste all of my wand on this attempt and nothing more, because I can always recharge my wand one more time. So that's what we're gonna do when I begin the next run. Alright, I will catch you guys later. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you guys, bye.